Morning, everybody. Welcome to LOCPOD Season 10, Episode 4, brought to you by Misprint Printing. Elevate your brand with Misprint, the premier printing and sign solution in Chicago and Northwest Indiana. With a 30-year legacy of excellence, their experienced team, led by Rick Baltensberger, combines innovation and technology to deliver top-quality signs and printing, always on time and within budget. Visit them at misprintindiana.com to bring your vision to life today. Misprint, your partner for creating impactful visual solutions.
I didn't even get to say good morning or hello or anything. You just were like,
go ahead.
Hey, everybody.
Go ahead.
You didn't even see the tagline. There was was there a tagline?
This is all meant for the sponsors to like highlight this.
Oh, we love Rick.
Not highlight Kevin.
No, I know, but I didn't even hear like, welcome to the Midwest's most I mean, that was
I'm off. I missed the show.
In the middle of our intro, Kevin was like, don't forget to do this. And Dad was like, that's all I can think about now.
I know. That's exactly what went down. I was like, shit, I almost forgot about that.
As our brains are turning on this morning.
I missed the show. Lindsay misses shows all the time. I missed 8 shows.
Lindsay has not missed any shows this year.
She's
2 for 2.
She hasn't missed shows. The ones she was supposed to be.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, John. You're right. This season, she hasn't missed any shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm in school, y'all. Come on.
Yo.
You're 2 for 2 this season.
I am.
I'm in your
I was a little late today. Dad got here before me, which is like a
that
first
is
ever.
Rare.
Made my own coffee.
Made your own. Wow.
He
sorry,
had,
Lindsay.
he
What
was
the
a
hell
little,
is going on?
He was confused. He made a little too much.
I messed it up.
That's all right.
Yeah.
But he's learning.
Yeah, I was making my own coffee.
I'm very proud
I make
of
my
you.
own coffee every day, by the way. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but you guys have like the.
And then I walk
like
in the studio, everybody's like, Tom can't do anything. Make his coffee.
Lead in a show.
He's inept.
Season 10, Episode 4. This is Left of Center, Midwest's most dangerous podcast.
Yeah. I'm all discombobulated, dude. I'll be honest with you.
You got your glasses on now, though, so that's good.
I had an incident on the way to work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe this throw you off.
Yeah.
Threw you off.
It had to do with coffee and like a pissed off driver. Like, so first
Coffee's
off,
a theme today.
So like I wanted to order a Starbucks, which is my normal move, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling extra tired today. So I like blast a Starbucks order in before I leave the house.
Right. Mobile app, right?
Right.
Ready to roll.
And it's really like easy because I have it timed out. So if I'm in my house, I put the order in, I jump in my car, and I drive to Starbucks. And by the time I get to Starbucks, it's literally like sitting there. I park the car, walk in, grab it.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you walk in or do you go through the drive-thru? Because
No,
at that point, it's a waste of time.
The drive-through is always packed.
Right.
Dude, brutal.
Yeah.
Right? That
and the
Starbucks
parking
is
lot,
brutal.
yeah.
Same thing at my
Nobody knows how
Starbucks.
to operate it.
Order it on the mobile app, park, walk in, grab, go.
Yeah. So I did that this morning.
Okay.
You notice I'm drinking studio coffee.
I do notice that.
So something went wrong.
Usually, yeah, okay. Yeah. It's apparent.
I forgot to pick it up.
Just drove right by.
That dang thing. And I'm like sort of pressed for time. And then once you pass Starbucks to like U-turn it and get back into that whole thing.
So your thing is like you get it, drink it before you get to the studio, and then you're ready to roll.
In, right. Yeah. And like I'm like totally wired, like because I just downed like 3 shots of espresso basically. So I like get like 2 minutes past the Starbucks and I realize I messed up in a big way. And then I'm in this dilemma.
So now you're pissed.
I dropped $6.
Right.
Do I go back and get it, or do I just let it? Am I a pimp? Do I just
see? This is why he was early today, Lindsay. He usually would those
several
minutes
like,
are the Starbucks stop.
Yeah.
Sometimes Dad walks in when we've already started the intro music.
Yeah, I agree. So like, I guess I probably could have turned around and reclaimed my $6 coffee, but I didn't.
You said I got to get to the podcast.
So I'm like pissed, and I'm driving
already.
in, and I'm like, God damn it,
right.
like pissed at
Routines
myself.
mixed up.
And, like I could be drinking latte from Starbucks and not studio coffee, right?
Yeah.
Hey.
So then,
good enough.
I'm like at an intersection here, close to the studio, because I took a longer way to work, which is I do sometimes. I go on 45th, which is a little bit further, and it's like it unnecessarily crosses a railroad track, which is bad form in the region because there could be a railroad, there could be a train on there at any time. But I still went that way, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm waiting at a right hand turn, like a I did like a left hand turn, right?
Okay, left hand turn.
Right.
Got it.
And the dude in front of me had the left hand.
Is it an arrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
The arrow.
Okay.
So I'm like sitting behind him, and then he's in front of me, and he's not moving. And it's like, come on, dude.
Well, the danger
Isn't
with that
annoying?
lane is the arrow can go yellow, and then you're totally
right.
out
And
for
they're
another
quick ones, right?
cycle.
So I'm like, what do you do? I'm the second car. This first car is clearly like not doing their job.
How many seconds are we in?
It's like pretty quick. It's like green. The guy's clearly not paying attention. So I go, 2.
Wait, give me that one again.
One of those.
I think that's that's appropriate.
If you do the staccato notes, it's a little less aggressive.
More polite.
But if it's like,
Nope, it was 2.
Okay.
That's totally the
Too
more
short,
polite.
too short blasts.
little-
That's
okay.
the hey.
That's friendly.
That's
Hey.
like the hey.
Hey.
You might not notice the arrow.
You-
just letting you know.
You're probably not paying attention.
Right.
Maybe you're like trying to
On
find
your
LOCPOD
phone,
on your
right?
local dial.
That's right.
Something's going on.
On your local dial.
Like ding ding.
On iHeartRadio.
Ding, ding.
On Stitcher.
But if
One
it
of
were
those.
like one like full note,
No, it was
That's
not.
aggressive.
It was like no, not that.
Not
Okay.
that.
It was
I
which
think
is
that's
clearly
polite. That's
Yeah.
the polite beep.
totally
that's
right.
the
Yeah.
friendly one.
He didn't take it that way.
Oh,
God.
How does he not know road etiquette then?
I clearly thought I
So
was.
he's
being
not paying attention, and he got the polite beep.
polite beep. Then we turn, flips me off. Like out the window, proud middle finger. And I'm like,
man,
what the hell?
my morning, my
this
morning
day
has
sucks
gone to
already,
shit.
right? This is my day right now. So here I am. And then Kevin's like, hey, don't forget to, how come you didn't do the Midwest Most Dangerous podcast? Because I'm a little pissed. All right? I got
and you're a
flipped
little
off.
low
I forgot
on
my
caffeine.
coffee.
Low on caffeine.
Right. Man, I'm drinking
Chug
studio
that, please.
coffee. I'm
Yes,
drinking
Dad.
studio
Chug
coffee.
it.
You need to start chugging that.
This is good studio
Society's
coffee.
hell,
Thank
man.
you.
What the hell?
Like,
Right?
you're out of your house for 10 minutes.
And the day is
and you already get
taken
flipped
a-
off because someone else's fault.
Yeah.
That's right.
It
It's
wasn't
like,
my fault.
What is going on, man?
Dude, if I could be like,
Right,
like
now
one of
that's
those
like,
dudes.
You
Fuck,
could expect maybe a middle
right?
finger then.
Right?
Right.
One of those.
That's polite.
That's like, excuse me, sir.
Right.
You
I agree
forgot
with
to
you.
turn, right?
Totally
That's
agree
the
with you.
Equivalent.
I totally agree.
Right?
And that's accepted, I think.
One long is like,
Even right, Lindsay, you even said like,
that's
Yeah.
just a little friendly beep.
agreed.
yeah.
I
So,
usually do one short.
bing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fair.
Okay,
Also
that's
fair.
fine. That's fine.
I think that would also be
The
accepted
shorter
as
it
polite.
is, the friendlier it is.
Yeah,
think
that's
that's fair.
That's my motto. I'm Irish.
Wow.
Title.
God.
Title.
Good job, Linz.
That's words
Thank
to
you,
live
Lindsay.
by.
And now your dad is like.
I like this.
She's
I'm
got
gonna
her
get that.
dad
I'm gonna get that.
taking the sexual innuendo of her statement. She's loving that.
I'm gonna get that tattooed on my.
I'm like traumatized. This, like,
Hello.
show right
Friendlier
now.
it is.
The first trauma moment for Lindsay
Hey, how
with
come
her
our
dad
video's
this,
not go-
this
oh, no,
season.
man.
This season, yes. I was going to say, this
I
is
mean,
not
you
on the
can't say
first of the
that.
show.
You can't say that around me. I mean, come on.
Lindsay, say it again.
No,
Definitely not.
it's not as funny the second time.
All
Hey,
right.
while I was gone, I was. By the way, great episode. I loved you guys. You guys sound great. It's always
Appreciate
good
it.
to have PRT.
We missed you.
It's always good to have PRT in the studio.
He was ready. He was great. When
I know. He always is.
All you have to do is say football, and it's
He's
funny.
He's a great
Yeah.
guest.
Yeah.
He comes in. He's funny. He's smart.
He's ready.
Yep. He's the chief.
He's
of
funny.
staff. Yeah, that's why he's the chief of staff.
Yeah, he's definitely funny.
So, but while I was gone, I was a news junkie, and I saw something happening in a theater in Colorado, and it appeared to me to be perfect LOCPOD material. And this is about Congresswoman Lauren Boebert.
Yeah.
Boebert?
Boebert.
Boebert.
We had fun. We had
Like
fun with that
Hobart.
one.
Oh,
So-
you did already? Yeah.
Yeah, this is update, right? So this
Right,
is the
update.
This is the update on the Lauren Boebert story. And when we were pre-showing yesterday, Tom ate it up, and it's so good.
Yeah.
Not only for the fact that it's Lauren Boebert, but just for the fact that it's like, I don't know, right? Contrasting what we think.
Well, why don't
maybe-
you go ahead, because I don't want to repeat what you guys talked about.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
all
show.
good.
Right.
So,
You want me to just play this while you guys are talking?
So, I imagine, yes, John, please, but, keep in mind, we're about to show you a theater shot that many of us have seen already, and I imagine this shot is in the dark of the theater.
without a doubt, you could tell it's like infrared.
So, Lauren thinks she's free to do whatever she wants with her man, Congresswoman Lauren, excuse me, and thinks he's free to do whatever he wants with his woman.
Yeah, including it
she's
starts out the
blowing it
video.
out. She's
yeah.
vaping.
Yeah, so we started last episode. We talked about the fact that Lauren Boebert was in a theater in Denver, got kicked out,
Everybody knows that move.
And
Anybody that smokes knows what that move is.
And
the move she's doing.
and so she
She's
was
hiding it in her hair.
She was accused of vaping.
You have the vape in your hand, and you just put your hand against your face. That's vaping.
But now we have the video to prove it.
And then
Yeah,
she
and then you
blasted
see
on
the
an old lady.
freaking
she totally
cloud.
just blew it right.
Like
There's
blew
an
out
old
right
lady
into
in front of her,
Just here to watch Beetlejuice the musical.
getting high with my boyfriend. And
then
by the way,
then the pregnant lady behind asks her to stop, and she just basically gives her the cold shoulder.
would you stop?
Look at this. This
Yeah.
is unbelievable.
She takes a selfie in front of her.
With flash
With
flash
flash, right.
photographs in the seat. It's a packed theater, by the way, right? Flash photographs. You could see the flash of the Apple iPhone. Now she's dancing,
She's the only one in the whole screen dancing.
with her arms up, singing.
Dancing is
She is
like,
loaded.
Yeah.
She's got to be loaded.
Yeah, she's definitely drunk
Oh,
for
God.
sure.
Here we
high,
go.
yeah.
And here's the groping.
Now this dude is checking her for lumps,
Yes.
right? He is, man. That's basically what he's doing, and then she's checking him for lumps.
And
Yes.
the middle finger.
And she flips off the poor
That's the
usher at
classic
the
part for
the
me.
young usher just there in a tie at the
He's probably a
event.
college kid, just
Yeah.
just doing what his boss
Trying to
said.
exactly.
She does not look like a grandma to me, right there.
No.
That is something, man. And then
I love the fact she flipped
So-
everybody off on the way out. Screw you!
Can
on
you
the way
read the?
out.
Can you, John? What was the title of that? The video we just there was a title in the notes. Did you see?
Oh,
the title
God.
you sent it.
Was it this one?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Boebert
my-
appeared to
jeez.
fondle Date's penis in Pack Theater as she put his hand on her breast.
That's the title of the article.
What show is this again?
Thank you,
It's
MTN News.
Beetlejuice the musical. It's
Oh.
actually phenomenal.
Is it like get you like? I mean,
No.
these two are like
The
ready
main
to
character
go.
is a teenage child. Like,
Whoa.
What do they do? I mean, like seriously, they're getting each other all fired up right there in Beetlejuice.
It is.
well, it's probably because she's wasted.
So we also reported last episode that the person she was with was a we're not passing judgment here on Lauren to go out with a Democrat, but she went out with a Democrat.
Good for her.
Yeah, she's bipartisan.
Broadening her horizons.
And a guy that owns a bar in Denver who has hosted LGBTQ events. God forbid.
Oh my
And his
goodness!
parents are big blues, so she's got that going.
So
for
she
her.
dumped him, right? I just read.
Yeah, I don't know.
well,
she
I
dumped
feel
him?
like she
Yeah.
knew that.
You read that she dumped him?
Yes, it's the
No
news today.
way.
Yes,
Oh.
No.
she dumped him when she realized that he has like this LGBTQ friendly
Come
background.
on.
There's no way.
I'm not bullshitting.
How did she not know that before
type
going
it?
out
That's
with
today's
him?
news. That's
John.
today's news. Today's news is he's not getting a second date. Like
Oh.
it was like, why the hell are we? Who cares who's getting a date with Lauren Boebert? First off, because this is news. I'm not making this shit up.
Yeah,
Type it in.
Weird.
Yeah.
So here's the apology she issued over the weekend after she denied vaping and denied everything else, and the video came out. She had no other option but to issue an apology.
Because she didn't realize that
Because she's a
they
proper
have
woman.
cameras
Yes.
everywhere.
Proper women have apologies.
Here's some of the highlights from this apology. There's no perfect blueprint for going through a public and difficult divorce. Okay. I mean, I could think of a couple ways to handle it differently.
Yeah,
Anyway, I've tried to handle it with strength and grace as best I can, but I fell short. Okay.
I fell short of
My values on Sunday.
Oh my goodness. Agree.
on the Lord's
values.
Day.
Yes. Lord's
Whether
Day.
it was the excitement of seeing a much anticipated production, this is an absurd apology.
She
Who
was
put
definitely
this
excited.
together? Or the natural anxiety of being in a new
Oh,
environment.
yeah. Well, that's when I start vaping and fondling whoever I'm with.
I'd expect to hear that from a liberal, by the way. The natural anxiety of being in a new environment. Who wrote this for her?
Some staffer.
No, it says at the bottom that Congresswoman Lauren Boebert wrote this, okay?
Wow.
All future date nights have been canceled, and I learned to check party affiliations before you go on a date. Boebert told TMZ in a video that she shared on
Oh,
Line
TMZ,
Wednesday.
very reliable.
Oh, wow.
Referencing reports that her date is a Democrat.
Imagine being that guy and this happening, and then he has to go and talk to his parents, and he's like,
Yeah.
Mom, Dad,
What?
I
I
dated a
was
Republican.
Sorry.
Lauren Boebert splits from Beetlejuice boyfriend because he's a Democrat.
Oh,
1 hour
come
ago.
on.
How does she not talk about this, like, ahead of time before
Lauren
making a date?
Boebert ditched Democrat who
Exactly.
fondled her at Beetlejuice.
I mean,
he
she-
fondled her.
She is such
Her
like a-
hand was on his lap.
Agreed.
Also,
Well, this article says that Boebert put his hands on her breasts, and she was being the aggressor.
he did.
in the
Oh, yeah.
situation.
He did.
Well,
he was
she-
all
Yeah,
over.
but look at... Okay.
He was all over.
here's the
her.
contrast.
Yeah, I
like,
want to
for
show you
God's-
this contrast, by the way, while I play this video. But this
Boom.
is... Okay. Oh, yeah. She's jerking him off.
Yeah.
Dude.
Okay. No, check this out, though. So I
It
found
is
this...
literally like she's rubbing him and he's rubbing her, and they're surrounded by people. This is
Both
our,
hands by her,
This
by
is
the
their.
way.
You're Congresswoman.
Yeah,
Good
this
for
is
him.
the foremost... One of the foremost conservative congresswoman's woman representing us in Congress, right?
There is hope for America, though.
She's
I mean,
not
she
representing
is,
She's
me.
not representing me.
she
No.
is jerking off a Democrat. That's good for America, right?
It's bipartisanship.
She's
it is
jerking
like this
across
is
the
this is
aisle.
hopeful America. We are moving forward. Lauren Boebert is jerking off a Democrat.
Look at this contrast, though. This
God
was an
bless
article from
America.
last year. She goes to a church.
I think we played
Oh
this.
my gosh,
We did.
dude.
We talked about this. And here's some of her quotes
All right, let's
as
look
this
at her
video
quotes.
plays, by the way. God is on our side. The blood has been applied. Like, she just...
You're doing that while you're playing the video. I mean, I appreciate that very much in studio. You
Because
just-
it's bullshit, Tom.
oh my goodness,
Like, this woman's supposed to be representing Christians in Congress.
It's bullshit, John. The whole thing's bullshit. Like Donald Trump's bullshit. And
But
quite frankly,
it's
what
all
else
up-
did she say?
John,
what else did she
there's
say?
bullshit in our party too.
But it's all upside
Yeah, but
down,
this is
Tom.
unbelievable.
No, think about this. This is the woman representing Christians in Congress. Yet Omar, just the other day, is defending religious freedom on Twitter. Did you guys hear about that?
Yes.
Like, she gets into a spat with a Republican congressman on Twitter talking about religious freedom. Like, everything's upside down right now. I can't make sense of it.
She says that that the parishioners were urged to take back Colorado from what he called a demon-possessed government. Whoa. I mean, I got to tell you, I'm a little more like ever since MGD called Lauren Boebert a bitch on the floor of Congress. I mean, MGD's kind of taking her to task.
Well, she's mainline now.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I think MGD might be feeding these stories.
Does she lose?
I think yes.
I think
She's
no.
gonna lose? No.
The only way she wins is because the only way she wins is if because it's a presidential year and that's a +8.
I think
district.
no, because she's not going to lose to a Democrat. That means she's
She
going to have
almost
to get
did by 500 votes last time.
Okay, but that means she's going to have to lose to a Republican. I'm just assuming they're not going to lose the seat because Republicans aren't going to do that. So that means the only one she'd probably lose to would be in a primary, and she's going to have millions of dollars, and the person that's running against her will have nothing.
She should make this her like campaign billboard.
It's a rematch. It's a rematch. The guy's already got $500,000 in the bank. He's a councilman from Aspen. I'm going with.
All right.
She loses.
Wow. You've heard it here.
Okay. All right. We got mailbag.
Oh. We got ads or we got mailbag?
Mailbag and then ads.
Oh.
Following that pesky little pre-show.
Decision.
This was such a good
it is a
story,
good mailbag. This is a great mailbag,
It's a
guys.
good teaser.
Because, like, if you heard 2 episodes ago, season 10, episode 2, we had an update on the lawsuit with Speros Batistatos, or was it episode 1? It might have been 1. Dos. And we gave you an update on the fact that every party, LOCPOD has been removed from the lawsuit, except for me. And Kevin's been dismissed from the lawsuit, which is great news, but I'm still in it. So we gave you an update if you want to hear it. It's a good episode. I would suggest you listen to episode 2 in season 10. But this is mailbag related to that, and it came from an amazingly unlikely source.
Right. So in episode 2, we also talked about and showed some LinkedIn posts from Speros about his poor experience that he described at Off Square Brewing in Crown Point, which is a popular spot in Crown Point. It's a independent brewery and pretty popular from what I can see. And he really took them to task in his posts, criticized the service, and criticized the response.
On LinkedIn?
On LinkedIn, yeah.
It was a last-second party.
Some people criticized him for putting it on LinkedIn and said, why don't you put this on
That's
Yelp?
for business, related. That's like where you talk about your work experience.
Well, he wanted his people to see it. I want my people to know.
So weird.
My people. I want my people to know about Off Square and the fact they didn't kiss my toes when I walked in the door.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have even known. I would not recognize him if I saw him in person.
You would.
He's got a good LinkedIn photo. You could check it out.
Okay, I'll definitely
He's got a
check
good LinkedIn photo.
Yes.
Maybe we could we'll be friends on LinkedIn. And
so after that episode, lots of fans of Off Square Brewing in Crown Point contacted us, talked to us about how much they love the brewery, the food, the service, which is all contrary to what Speros said about Off Square. So we
got this little blurb in from guess who?
So a lot of Crown Point action on that particular episode. We're talking about Off Square. We're talking about a lawsuit. It's very interesting. And then who contacts LOCPOD? The chef at Off Square.
Jesus. Word travels fast.
It's so awesome. So he reaches out, invites us to Off Square.
Yes.
Invites us,
the crew,
so we can go. We could pre-show at Off Square. And then possibly get the chef to come on as a guest. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Chef, owner, whoever. But so this is his text to us is, this is the chef at Off Square Brewing. Thank you so much! ! Please come in and see me, and dinner is on me. LOL.
Yeah, is he laughing because he's saying dinner's on him? Or?
I think he's just laughing because
we go there and he goes, "Oh, I was laughing out loud. Dinner's on you." Yeah, thank you for coming here. Dinner's on you. I was LOLing.
I think he was LOLing the whole thing about the episode.
It was a good episode.
I think he enjoyed the fact that
we were honest.
We showed what was posted online by Speros. So
we should do a pop-up there.
Well, let's start with.
We'll walk into.
Let's start with pre-show.
Yeah, let's start with pre-show. See where it goes.
Yeah. So we'll
see how we vibe with the chef. I have a feeling we're going to vibe very well with the chef.
So I guess number one, thanks to everyone for listening. 2, thanks for all the people that are fans of Off Square for reaching out to us, because I think it's nice to see a counterpoint to what was posted. And and thanks to the folks at Off Square, both the owner and the chef reached out to us.
We're gonna go out there and check you out, and we're gonna talk about how great your food is, and we're going to counter everything that Speros did to dirty up your business.
We're going to make an equally lengthy post on Yelp.
Whoa, that's hard to do. That is hard to do.
About how great Off Square Brewing is, and how much we need to support local businesses, not kick them in the,
and how much we love the service.
In the areas where Lauren Boebert is fondling.
Right, yeah. But like the former head of the Convention Visitors Bureau, he's like trying to take Off Square Brewing down. Like, what the hell is the matter with you? Why? I called the day before for a 60-person party.
A small 60-person.
And they weren't even ready for us.
It was only 24.
Yeah. He's such a pompous.
Do you think this hurts or helps Off Square in the end?
Helps.
I'm going to say help.
I'm going to say neither, because who pays attention to him now that he's not in his position?
But like, we blow it up on LOCPOD, and now it's getting response, obviously, and we're getting invited to free dinner.
Yes.
LOL.
LOL.
Question mark? Well, question mark?
TBD.
Unless.
Free dinner? LOL? Question mark? All right.
Absolutely.
So why don't we do some ads, and then we'll come back, and I got something to talk about. I know it's going to piss off Vesmar.
All right, let's do it.
I know it's going to piss off Vesmar, because I know Vesmar, and this is going to freaking set him off.
I do like spicy Vesmar.
Vez is going to be pissed when we get back.
And he's already going a little hard today because of Lauren Boebert's story.
He's feeling a little heartbroken.
A little hard because of Lauren Boebert. Nice.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, no kidding. All right, let's go. Cantrell and Cantrell, attorneys at law. When you're facing legal challenges or injuries, they're here to guide you through the process. Their dedicated team, including John and Kristen Cantrell, is in court and at the jail every day, ready to fight for your rights to party. Call John Cantrell at 219-554-4LAW. That's 219-554-4529, or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. Discover how they can make a difference in your case.
Calumet Brewing. Busch Light, the coldest and smoothest light lager, is calling you to embrace the great outdoors, the roar of NASCAR, and the joy of cracking a cold one. Celebrate life's moments with Busch Light, and then head over to Cal Brew on Facebook or Instagram for a chance to win a Busch Light Igloo cooler. Sweepstakes are running through September. Visit Busch.com and their social media pages for exciting updates and events. Head for the mountain of Busch Light and enjoy beers and cheers responsibly.
Prestmer Insurance Company. For decades, the Ron J. Prestmer Insurance Agency has been your trusted neighbor right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. Their wide range of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, and life insurance, have helped over 1,000 individuals and businesses throughout Chicagoland and the Midwest. Call Ron or Ronnie today at 219-844-0103. They're here to protect what matters most to you.
Byway Brewing. Byway Brewing, a family-friendly microbrewery, welcomes you to their spacious tap room and outdoor patio. Enjoy award-winning craft beer, a chef-driven menu, and craft draft cocktails. Their unique brewing equipment and production facility provides a perfect backdrop for private events, whether it's a bridal shower, reunion, or corporate parties. With their new food truck, they can cater to your corporate or private events off-site. Customer service is our top priority at Byway Brewing. Just off of 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Discover more at bywaybrewing.beer.
Is that a thing? Craft draft cocktails?
I guess so.
Craft draft cocktails.
You're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah, I don't. John?
Yeah, we're going to have to get...
I thought you said that AI wrote
on that.
this.
Yeah, this is...
Probably AI screwed it up.
Oh, wow.
Terrible.
I don't think AI just like it's hallucinating.
I'm down on AI.
When AI is like, yeah, they make draft cocktails there.
Craft draft cocktails.
Right? And then they show up and Byway Brewing's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Who wrote
we don't
that
do that.
ad?
Right?
Steve Kellogg.
I heard it on LOCPOD.
Steve Kellogg getting AI to hallucinate.
His AI girlfriend hallucinated that.
Okay. This is something that I was in Tampa, by the way. I went to see the Bears game, but more importantly, my buddy Greg and my Navy buddies, we stayed at Greg's place in Tampa, and all my Navy buddies and I had a little reunion.
Outstanding.
Super cool.
Good to see those guys.
I went there and enjoyed the weekend with my boys.
Had him in the studio a little bit ago.
But yeah, it was
of them.
pretty much all of them. Some of them couldn't make it, obviously, because things happen. And then we went to the Bears game and watched the Bears get destroyed.
They are
and
gonna be
humiliated.
Bad.
But
they are going to be bad.
The hottest football game I've ever been to, bar none, was that one.
Really?
In Tampa. Holy crap.
How's the stadium?
It's super small. And not small, but like it reminds me a little bit of Soldier. It's like in that ballpark capacity-wise. But like and my buddy Greg gave us the tickets, and they were nice. We were down like close to the Bears bench.
I was wondering how the field was since the Alabama Southern Florida game was there the day before, and it poured.
It was
fine. Wow.
But let me tell you, I would have rather been in the pouring rain than what we were in.
Ugh.
It was 95 outside. So walking in the stadium, we were brutally sweating and hot.
And you're out in the sun.
And then you get in the stadium surrounded by, 60,000 people with no wind. And it's just the sun just bearing on you the whole time. So, and my buddy, I don't know how much he spent on the tickets, but I wasn't going to. So I stuck the whole game. But I was
Which is not a Tom McDermott move, by the way.
I drank three liters of water.
You're out.
Yeah, it was fun, though. Tampa's gorgeous, by the way. My buddy's Greg's house is right on the Gulf with a boat. It's awesome.
Yeah, I was down in Tampa about a month ago because one of my sons is moving down there soon. And I hadn't been there since you and I were there for the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, me neither.
And,
that was the last time I'd been
there.
there.
And it was awesome. It was really nice. Up and coming, a lot of young people and a lot of building going on. So
I run across an article while because when I go away, I just read. I read and read and read. I read news. I read everything. And I stumbled across a couple articles, gave me some stuff to talk about on LOCPOD. This one really piqued my interest because I think I've thought about stuff like this in the past. I remember back in the day when movie theaters were a big thing. When I first took over as mayor, I would hear a lot of times from Hammond residents, why don't you open a movie theater in Hammond?
Remember that?
They would say it to me, like as mayor.
I remember.
Why doesn't the city open a movie theater?
Yeah.
It's not fair that I have to drive to Cherville, I have to drive to Illinois, I have to drive to Hobart, I have to drive all these places to get a movie theater. We'd really like to have a movie theater in Hammond, Mayor. We have the population for it. Why don't you do it as a city? And I would say, listen, I can't as a city open a movie theater, like City Hammond movie theater, right? It just doesn't work. Like, that means I'm hiring people to make popcorn and they're city employees. I'm hiring ushers and stuff, like city employees. That doesn't make sense.
The IT department will be working the concession stand this week.
Right?
Beep, boop, beep, boop.
So, and I use it as a teaching moment to try to explain to people what's appropriate for your city government and what's not appropriate. And that owning a business, like a retail business, like a movie theater, is not appropriate for a city. Right? And then I always keep in mind that we have a golf course, which is unusual.
Although there are a lot of municipally owned golf courses, a lot of cities.
But it is
courses.
delving into
private
business,
but also you're right, because there are a lot of privately
it's
owned
inconsistent
golf courses.
messaging. But in my defense, I didn't buy that golf course. That golf course was purchased when I took over. Okay, it is inconsistent messaging. I realize that, and even a marina, I guess. Although marina gets more into city,
and same thing with golf courses. I mean, it's public recreation. You own parks. You have I mean,
right.
in a sense that
it is. But like there is no other public golf course. There's no other golf courses in Hammond, so I'm not competing with anybody. In fact, the only person I'm really competing with is country clubs and stuff like that.
Sure.
So anyway, and
Wicker Park.
Poor people can't golf at country clubs for the most part, and poorer people can golf at public golf courses like the Lost Marsh.
Make it available.
Anyway, let's get back to the topic. Is this? The topic is this. I just read a story about Mayor Brandon Johnson wants to open grocery stores in their food deserts in parts of the city where all the grocery stores are fleeing, and it made me think of the city of Gary. And I know that the city of Gary just recently opened one grocery store, and they're very proud of it, and I'm proud of them for it, right? But like, this is a whole
privately
new
owned.
Yeah, it is a privately owned grocery store in Gary. Great correction. Thank you for pointing that out. This in Chicago that Mayor Brandon Johnson is talking about would be publicly owned.
I remember reading that Whole Foods opened up a store in Inglewood, and then that was a couple years ago, and then they closed. So right. I don't know if that's the neighborhood.
So let's say Whole Foods closes, and then Chicago comes in right after and opens Chicago Whole Foods.
Yeah, there's a note in the article that says Aldi stores in West Garfield Park, Auburn Gresham, and Save-A-Lot stores in West Garfield Park, Austin, Auburn Gresham, and Washington Park have all closed. That's a lot of grocery stores closing. So then you have a lot of people.
This is a problem.
Yeah,
agree. The food desert is not good because then what the people that live in that area have to resort to is like McDonald's and Burger King and stuff like that for or
like
gas
convenience
stations.
stores for groceries.
Right.
Think about
potato
that.
chips or gas station hot dogs, gas station food, which is
not
gross
healthy,
and,
overpriced.
Yeah, it's and fattening and like disgusting. Right. So when you have these food deserts, less people are making their own food, which is also cheaper, by the way, and they're relying on these pre-made foods, which are unhealthier
and expensive.
So. Is Mayor Johnson onto something? That's the question. And first off, let me tell you, even if he is onto something, even if this is the future, I predict this store will be an absolute catastrophe.
That's what
There's
I'm
going to
worried
be so
about.
much graft and stealing and free shit given out. Like that's what I definitely see coming in the future.
That's
like,
and you're
hey,
talking
if my
about,
buddy comes in and he wants a free,
Yeah, and you're not
cereal.
talking about by the residents. You're talking about by just in general, like
just corruption.
Yeah,
corruption will plague that retail establishment. I fear.
It's a tough one, right? Because I think you're right. Food deserts are a real thing. I think you pointed out what just happened in Gary, and the fact
we
Gary
lived
was
right next to one.
Right. And so that is a big concern, I would think, when you have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that live in a food desert. What do you do? I mean, I guess there's two ways to do it. You open up your own, or you incentivize to the point where the grocery store is like, okay, I'll come in. Right. So the question is, do you want to run it, or do you want to incentivize it to the point where a corporation that does grocery stores gets to run it at basically no risk?
I'm not saying that we do something similar to that in Hammond. We do sort of. We incentivize a couple of grocery stores in particular in Hammond because they're in tougher parts of the city, which it makes it harder to be successful in that part of the city, and we have to reflect that. But we also have grocery stores in other parts of the city, like let's say the Walmart with the grocery store on the north side of the city.
Doing great.
We don't need to incentivize a project like that. Right?
Yeah, I mean, but like, for example, I remember when you were running for Senate, and this was the reality, you talked about something else, a healthcare desert.
Right.
And you talked about the fact when the hospital closed, you're like, okay, here we are. And so.
But should Hammond open a hospital?
I would say no, not on its own.
I mean, you could.
Yeah,
you could, and you'd have a total great rationalization, just like Mayor Johnson does.
I mean, Indiana allows county hospitals to exist, and they do exist in many areas. I know Jasper County has a hospital, and they run a hospital.
So you're saying it's not even legal for Hammond?
I don't know if a city could do it. Maybe Indianapolis can as a first-class city.
Can Hammond open a movie theater?
I'd say sure, but I mean, did COVID ruin movie theaters, or are they coming back?
I love movie theaters.
I do too.
Still. I don't know if
Brian
they did
keeps trying to make movie theaters happen, but I'm not.
You don't
Ever
go?
since I don't really like them. They're expensive.
They are expensive,
and they're usually pretty dirty. And you can get a lot of movies pretty quickly.
I like the fact you
I
can
love
order
the
your
theater.
seats. I like you can order your seats too.
I like
and
that
usually
too.
This theater, if I'm going to go, I want to get like the 3D IMAX experience or whatever. You know, like I want to see it special.
I like going on Fandango. That's one of my
apps
man.
Fandango's really cool.
Yeah, I like going to the theater. I do like going to the theater to see a movie.
Right.
For sure.
Although I will say, over the weekend, Amy and I went to see The Haunting in Venice, I think it was called.
Oh, was it good?
It was pretty good, but there were like a group of people just making noise in the back.
Was it Lauren Boebert?
I just lament. No. I just like almost lament the experience now because you always get some bad apple.
There's always been that, though. I feel like every time you go to a horror movie, there's always a group of people who are just like, whoa.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why I don't go there.
Oh,
I think that's part of the experience.
Yeah, interesting. Steve just pointed out, and it's a good Steve Sursick, my law partner, online said Jasper County Hospital sold out to Franciscan, so there you go. They don't even have a county hospital down there anymore.
And I feel like the history of county-run and state-run hospitals has been pretty not great.
In Indiana?
Well, I mean, back in the early 1900s all the way up to the 70s, I mean, the state-run hospitals were usually asylums and things like that, and they were not great at all. So I don't know. I'm a little against the concept.
All right, so why don't we go ahead and do some ads? We got an author that's coming on when we get back named Ben Hamilton. He's an author of the book called Sorry Guys, We Stormed the Capitol.
Sounds like a book, but
he was.
You would title it that way.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Sorry y'all.
Sorry y'all. We stormed the Capitol, kind of. And basically,
My bad.
He's a former history teacher who lives in his van and experiences history firsthand. Kevin?
I think that's right. He calls his van the Beast. I can't wait to ask him about that. And he was in Washington, not knowing what was going to happen, but purposefully there in Washington on January 6th. And his book is about interviewing many people. So firsthand history, we're going to hear from Ben Hamilton.
So we're going to get back. We're going to talk to Ben. We're going to talk a little bit January 6th. And we'll talk a little bit about living in a van. And it's great always having. We do get a lot of authors on our show. And that's the book Kevin's holding up right now. Sorry, guys. We stormed the Capitol. So why don't we go ahead and get some ads done? When we come back, we're going to have a great author on, Ben Hamilton. So let's start off with Kuklakis Law. Are you currently navigating complex legal challenges, unsure of where to turn for guidance? Your search ends here with Kuklakis Law, your trusted partner for legal solutions in Indiana and Illinois. Whether you're seeking expert representation for real estate transactions, need assistance in forming your business, or have experienced personal injury at work or in a car crash, Kuklakis Law is here for you. No matter the nature of your legal issue, their team is ready to help. Call Kuklakis Law today at 219-671-6347 to schedule your free consultation. Hablamos Español.
Rogers Roofing. When you demand nothing but the best for your home and family, trust the industry leader, Rogers Roofing. For over 54 years, they've been transforming homes in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland. Their commitment to quality shines through their roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed up by the most comprehensive warranties in the business. Visit our website at rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-9145 to schedule your free consultation. That's rogersroofing.com or 933-9145. And remember, at Rogers Roofing, excellence is expected every time.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon. Tortillas Nuevo Leon sets the gold standard in Mexican cuisine across the Midwest. Look for their iconic red and white label at your local grocery store. Indulge in the finest Mexican products crafted with local expertise and savor the taste of authenticity. Discover the flavors of Tortillas Nuevo Leon today.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia, de todo corazón.
Power in Indiana, Lake County. IBEW Local 697 and NECA proudly introduced Powering Indiana, Lake County. With over a century of experience, they've been safely wiring the region. From powering corporations along the lakefront to lighting up homes across the region, Powering Indiana, Lake County is your trusted source for electrical professionals. Visit jact697.org, that's JACT697.org, to join us as we continue to light the way for Northwest Indiana.
Pow.
Nice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, very proud to bring in a great guest, an interesting guest, gentleman that was at the site of January 6th. As it happened, he experienced his history firsthand, and he's the author of Sorry Guys, We Stormed the Capitol. I'd like to introduce to our LOCPOD audience, Mr. Ben Hamilton. How you doing, sir?
Very good. Thank you very much for having me.
Welcome to Left of Center Podcast.
Hey, Ben.
Pleasure
Nice
to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on. I was hoping there'd be a picture of the Beast in the background.
Are you in the Beast right now?
No, I'm not. I've got a little like thing set up in the basement right now. But the picture
The Beast has a
behind me-
basement? Holy crap.
I'm not. I call it being in field, maybe somewhat presumptuously, but I'm not in field right now. I'm not living out of the van right now. I'm between adventures. If I can scrape together enough money to actually cover my expenses, I'm hoping to get out around the time of the trial in Georgia of Trump, which is also going to be right before Super Tuesday in the election cycle. I have a feeling I might be able to find material for a book then. But at the moment, I'm just being a boring regular person between adventures.
So is that Sorry Guys, We Stormed the Capitol? Is that your first work? Is that your first book?
You know, it's the first book I published, but interestingly, I had written another book just before that. Well, it depends on your question. I wrote like a stack of books in my life. It was always my plan to be like an adventurer author trying to merge my romantic image of Jack Kerouac and John Steinbeck from Travels with Charlie. Ever since I was like a teenager, I wanted to be an author. So I wrote a lot of books. But the one you have in your hands is the first one I actually published.
That's great.
Available on Amazon, I noticed, Ben.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Just to finish up that point, I do see that one as part of a series that I call the Chasing History Project. It also includes the podcast I'm launching and stuff. And I wrote another book in that series of just me trying to witness history as it happened, like months before that, that was about that thing in Seattle where the protesters took over several blocks of the
Yeah.
city and the police refused to enter that zone.
Occupied.
I was there.
Oh, well, I was there too. At least
Wow.
the last week or
Primary
so.
source history.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. Like as a high school history teacher, I try to create primary source historical documents.
How do you know which stories are the big ones that you want to be? I mean, obviously Trump makes it easy, but
Trump does make it easy, but yeah, that is an excellent question. What I have found is when I get conflicting news reports, that's something that I should witness for myself and see what's really happening.
He's noticing
So like,
patterns. I like that.
yeah. So like when in Seattle, that thing was you turn on one channel and it says it's a riot. They're flipping over police cars and setting it on fire with people with guns patrolling the city. You turn on another channel, they say, oh, it's a mostly peaceful protest. Don't worry.
love it.
And that's a sign to me that there's something that's worth investigating. I've don't always get things, but I some of the times I go out, in the van and nothing interesting happens. But that's roughly the pattern.
So let's talk a little bit about this idea of, I think everybody understands this listening primary source. In other words, instead of just reading about history you want to be. You're a former history teacher. You want to experience history, and then you can actually relay it to your students or to others through primary source because you were there. And one of the things I noticed about "Sorry Guys, We Stormed the Capitol" was it's basically really quotations of people that you interviewed. And I was curious about the title. I was curious who gave you that quote because I assumed it was somebody that day.
Yes, that was the first I heard of what I call in the book the event, the fact that like an angry mob had broken into the building. One of the things that I've like to stress is that both on the left and the right, the news media sources spin some narratives about the day that I find misleading. So like there was definitely violence. Like, let's debunk Tucker Carlson's version of events right away. There was definitely violence, but there were a lot of moments in which nothing seemed to be happening. Like I was buying a hot dog while people were storming the Capitol. It wasn't clear that the city wasn't under some kind of siege or something. And I'm in the middle of eating my hot dog, and I overhear this conversation behind me where a woman says very casually, "Sorry, guys, we stormed the Capitol." And I was like, what?
Sounds like a good title.
Yeah.
So you immediately ran over there, and I know you were at a personal dilemma at one point trying to decide whether you should continue your investigation into the Capitol, right?
Right. Yes. My allegiance is to history. I try to look at this as the lecture I'm giving to high school history students 30 years from now. And that's what everything I do is. So I try to be at the interesting things and see them for myself. So that's why I ran towards it. I was not on the mob's side. Just to be clear, people often ask me this. Those are criminals. I, as integrity journalistically for my sources, I protect the identities of everyone. I didn't even ask them their names, just so I wouldn't be in a situation where somebody might ask me that.
Yeah, I noticed you use like nicknames a lot. In fact, one of I chuckled when I read this. Someone named Onesie said, or you said to them, "You smoked a bong in the Library of Congress," and they're like, "Yeah."
Yeah, shit. Like all of these interesting things happen. So, should people be interested in hearing more, all of the recordings of the interviews I conducted are available on my website for free. So anyone who wants to go back and learn more, this is my little attempt to capture history as it really happened. You can listen to those recordings and, decide for yourself. And
I'm trying to think this through. So the guy was attacking the Capitol. He had a bong in one hand and he was attacking the Capitol? Or was there a bong
Congress
in the Library of Congress?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because the bong is not a mobile unit.
Right.
Yeah.
You're like breaking in with the bong in your left hand and you're fighting off cops with your right hand, and then
yeah. Oh, these were some strange, colorful characters. So to be clear, and actually, I'm glad we're having this conversation. I may put this in an update in later things. The literal Library of Congress is another building in another part of town.
That's why it was interesting
so
to me.
this guy just missed the whole storming the Capitol.
that explains the bong.
What I missed.
We're here. The building. I think he just was in the library in that building and assumed that was the Library of Congress.
He was high, obviously.
Yes. So that's a good clarification to have. But
Thank you for that
said
clarification.
That quote to me.
Yeah.
So
but he smoked a bong inside the Capitol building.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty
He
sure
thought it was
that
at Library of Congress.
But the bong had to be there, or else the
Right,
guy was breaking in. So.
But the thought process of this, like he breaks into the building and then smokes a bong inside the building. And to get back to your original point, there was a moment when I was there right up at the walls interviewing people, and people just started streaming in through like a broken window. I described it as like pulling a drain plug on a bathtub, and the people are water, and they're just being sucked in by some unseen force. And I was being pulled into the crowd. Like I was really close to going in with them, and I was thinking like this would make for a really interesting book. People would love hearing about this. I should, this could be a great story. And the last minute it was like, nope, bad idea. And I jumped out of the way, and all the people went past me. So that was where
let me ask you a question, your opinion. So if you step into the Capitol through that opening in the window, do you think you should have misdemeanor charges pressed against you? Because basically that's the moment. You were standing on the edge of not being charged, because I assume that you're free and clear of charges, right?
So far,
But if you said I'm not trying to screw
not after this interview.
Yeah, we'll see.
But if you step right in, if you put one leg into the Capitol and you step into the Capitol, those are the people that are probably experiencing uncomfort right now.
Right.
Well, definitely. I mean, to be clear, like I don't know. I've got this romantic idea of like the rebel bad boy writer. So I've done some things that you're probably not supposed to do in the course of my adventures. But
good thing you haven't done it on
we
that
have
day.
We have that in common, my friend.
Let me ask you, Ben. I had a question. So, I know this is like first-person history, and as I've looked through it, it seems like there's interviews, and then kind of you describing either what led up to you shoving the recorder in someone's face as they were speaking, or what led up to kind of you running into a certain person. Do you kind of look at this as a book that is just like, I want other people to interpret it as they read it and reach their own opinions, or do you believe you give opinions within the book that you've reached some conclusion of the day?
I'm very influenced by the tradition of gonzo journalism, basically invented by Hunter S. Thompson, and I would argue perfected by Matt Taibbi, who is my hero, who is technically greater than I could ever be. So I think describing the real life experiences and emotions going through someone as they're at an event does make it more real to the audience. So I try to make a very clear distinction of like, this is something that I have actual proof of. I actually witnessed evidence from myself. And on the other hand, these are just things that I was feeling as they were happening. They're not like, set in stone true. But I do think that experience makes it more relatable and interesting to the reader. My target audience is kind of like a 17-year-old high school kid who was assigned to read this book in school. That's like my grand vision for wild success.
It'll help sales too if it's assigned.
So I do try to make things interesting for like a teenager, like I swear, like I express problems with the government. Like I climb down the side of a Capitol building to escape police tear gas. Like it is intended to be an interesting story, even while being historically accurate.
While you're interviewing people, do you ever get uncomfortable? Like I remember one time I was witnessing looting. And I happened to be in the parking lot while it was going on, and I started filming people because it was amazing to me. And then I started thinking to myself, I'm going to get my ass kicked because I'm filming people committing felonies, right? Do you ever get that fear when you're doing your job?
Oh, I'll tell you what, man. In my other book, hopefully published sometime this year, that's the climax of the book, pretty much what you described.
Oh, my God, I blew your book.
No.
I get the shit kicked out of me. Like there were these guys, they kicked in my face, they broke every bone in my eye socket, and then a gunfight broke out between like multiple people, and I'm
holy shit.
Where was this?
This was in Seattle.
Oh, wow.
Dude, Seattle's goddamn.
Yeah.
Where do you live permanently? I mean, besides, I know, where are you from? How about that?
I don't really actually identify any place as home. I travel like a lot, and I always have.
It's like no gender identity. I don't identify at home.
I don't identify.
He's the man down by the river.
That,
He's
man.
like John Kerry.
Chris Farley.
Thank you.
I've lived in a van by a river. It's a nice way of life.
Yes, thank you.
John, time to play that at the end.
Yeah.
Every time they mention that you live in a van on your adventures, that's all I've been thinking about is Chris Farley living in a van down by the river.
Yeah, he's a classic.
You probably get that a couple times, I imagine, right, Ben?
Yeah, it's come up.
What color is the beast?
He ends the interview early.
The beast is black.
And it's got a wizard on the side.
What, you've seen it?
No.
I thought it was like maroon.
So let me ask you, so what kind of equipment do you have in this beast? Are you able to do podcasts from there? Are you able to do anything like that? Or
my goal for my next adventure is to be able to do that. I left with like the hope that I could do that on the last big trip, and it just didn't happen. So I had like my audio recording and then just like a bed and like some supplies and things like that. That turned out to be enough, really.
Are you on TikTok, Ben? You should be. Especially if you live in a van. I see hot women all the time that do this. Ben, I could totally see this. Like, and it helps you with book sales and stuff like that. You do a TikTok, just like this is the kind of shit I do every day, and it's interesting.
Yeah,
to people
there are
like
a lot of vans.
you know.
Yeah. I've thought about a lot of things like that. I'm just trying to build things one at a time. Right now, my main focus is getting a podcast up and running.
Awesome.
Doing what I'm going to do is.
Do you have it yet, or are you like in the planning stages?
I actually may like record the first draft of what I'm going to post for my first episode today after I talk to you, because I'm already sitting here with my microphone and everything.
Awesome, man.
I'm going to start out, I think, by posting some or all of my book, just me reading it. So as opposed to like releasing an audio version of the book, it'll just be on the podcast.
And
Awesome.
do you still have the audio recordings from when you were there on January 6th?
Oh, yeah. Like I
That
said.
would be so fascinating to hear, like, those interviews live, like, live recordings on your podcast.
Where can we find those, Ben?
Well,
Fascinating.
The recordings are already available at chasinghistoryproject.com.
Chasinghistoryproject.com.
Yeah, I try to do everything under that brand. So that's the book series, that's the podcast, that's most of my presences on social media, such as they are, chasinghistoryproject.com.
Any of your clips go viral? Like get shared by NBC News, Fox News, anything like that?
No, nothing like that. Maybe someday we'll see.
It seems like it should. I mean,
You
it'd
got
be like
good content.
like during 9/11, the people just happened to be filming like a commercial or something when it was under attack. That's the kind of stuff that's very interesting to people. Everybody knows what happened on that day.
To me, it seems like I think this is the kind of book that over time, history will really go to, because right now it seems like there's a lot of stuff out there and you can find videos and
we
things.
were
This
all
is a
alive
compilation.
then.
And it's a compilation of actual events in people's own words, which I think is really kind of cool.
And Ben, can I ask you kind of a hard-hitting question, if you don't mind? And I say this because I was looking you up last night and I saw a clip of you on Twitter talking about this.
You saw a clip of me on Twitter?
I did. Yeah.
Can you
John.
send
It's
that
called
to
X
me?
now.
I'm not aware of that one.
Yeah. So it seemed to me, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to put words in my mouth, but you were giving Trump a little bit of a benefit of the doubt on did he not incite this rush to the Capitol? Can you talk about that a little bit from your experience?
Sure. The entire last chapter of the book is my summary of my findings from my personal investigation. But basically, I call it a perfect storm of intersectional stupidity. Is that day. I am very hard on Trump for certain things, but I also did find that a lot of the stuff the media accused him of were the wrong things, like the things that at minimum are much harder to prove. So, like, for example, once people had broken into the building, it is documented, that Trump and his lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, made phone calls to people, to senators and members of Congress, still trying to extract concessions for them, getting the recount thing or whatever it was he wanted. When they were saying no, you don't understand. You got to call them off. They're going to kill us, and in the spirit of accuracy, I have to say a lot of things. So the mob did not kill anybody. That's important to understand. A lot of people think they did. They did not. That's documented by Robert Greenwald. But I don't blame Congress for thinking they might. I mean, what would you think if somebody broke into the building where you worked and started banging on the walls, chanting in unison like traitors get the rope? That's a scary situation.
Hell yeah.
And in the middle of that, Trump was, he was kind of laughing at them. I'm not a lawyer, but I would assume there's some crime there, leveraging that, and then when Trump called them off and told them to go home, they did. So, yeah, I want you give him some credit for the fact that he is absolutely the one who ended it. He told them to go home, and they did. But once we've established he had the power to do that, why didn't he do that 2 hours beforehand? It's not that great a thing to say that. So, Trump was clearly guilty of those things. And I also made the case that it looked like the quote-unquote march was criminally negligent. Again, I'm not a lawyer, so I probably shouldn't say that, but it looked that way to me. So as a guy who's been in a lot of political marches, I noticed these weird things that an activist would notice. There were no porta potties. It's weird detail, but I actually think it's important. I was
less organized, less official.
I was protesting against the Iraq War, walking those same streets, years earlier in a real protest march. And so I know what it looks like. And
plenty of porta potties there.
Yeah, porta potties everywhere. And most importantly, there's a guy with a clipboard and a bullhorn leading people, telling them where to go and where to stop, telling them what the permit says.
Well, that's why this is more of a mob and less of a march.
I absolutely think that's fair. It was an angry mob. Trump said, we're going to march across the city. And then, he did get some sort of permit or something, apparently last minute, but there was no one leading it. Alex Jones was actually supposed to lead it. Like, apparently, like that one guy, they said, go lead it. But the key thing to really understand about that day, in my opinion, is that Trump spoke too long. His speech, which I was there at, I was listening to the speech. He went on for like more than an hour, carried away by the sound of his own voice. Yeah.
Wow.
And he was saying a lot of things. Again, I want to make it very clear that I am not like pro-Trump. He said in the speech, I was taking notes, all these numbers that had apparently no sources, like 82,731 dead people voted in Ohio.
Well, that's true.
Well, he didn't list any sources, so it sounded very official. This is like the President of the United States, someone who everyone in the crowd trusts, telling them in no uncertain terms there was cheating and the election was stolen.
Right.
And he never provided any backup for that. So he kept talking, though. He talked too long. The certification vote started without the mob there to protest it, and they left without him. The angry mob left without him, under no one's control, and those are the people who broke into the building. Well, Ben, and I argue it's very hard to prove that Trump planned that.
That's interesting. Really interesting
stuff.
Interesting guest, interesting concept,
Yeah, Ben, I just want to thank you for coming on. I want to make sure everybody knows that you can get your book at Sorry Guys, We Stormed the Capitol on Amazon and other places. ChasingHistoryProject.com is where you can listen to the source material. And Ben Hamilton, author and historian, we appreciate you coming on. We'll look forward to your next book. And thank you for being available for us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And Ben, if you're ever in Northwest Indiana coming through the
Beast.
region with the Beast, please stop by and visit us at LOCPOD. We'd love to have you come in and show you the studio and maybe get you on, and catch up because probably, you're a good guest. So it'd be great to have you back.
Hopefully after you go to Georgia.
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right, awesome.
We're right up here in the Chicago area. Thanks for coming on Left of Center, bud. It's great to meet you. Ben Hamilton, author of Sorry Guys, We Stormed the Capitol. Thank you very much, Ben.
Thank you.
Whoa. All right. Steve Kellogg, our
Good job,
astute
Steve.
business manager, is here.
I like that was a good guess, man.
I really enjoyed his, but I would really not like it if he were up here because that means something intense is happening in Chicago.
That's a good
He's
point.
doing
Lynn.
first person primary source history.
I'd like to see the Beast, man.
Me too.
Yeah.
We could do a podcast in the Beast.
He gave us a signed copy.
He gave Steve a signed copy. It says to Steve Kellogg, History Laughs Last.
Awesome, bud.
I'm going to
Ben
put
Hamilton.
That was a
the
good
link
guess.
to that in chat.
Cool.
His book on Amazon.
Yeah, really interesting as I page through it. I mean, it's
Oh no, I like it a lot. It's really cool. Like it's raw, literally, like word for word what these people are saying to him.
yeah, and
when
that's
he's out
why I
there
like it, right?
interviewing.
Because you kind of decide on your own.
Yeah,
what was going
it's not
on.
filtered by the media.
Yep.
Right.
John
right, well-
in our comments said that the Beast should be brought to the Festival of the Lakes.
Hell
next
yeah!
year.
Bring the
Welcome.
beast to the fest.
That'd be awesome.
Wrap us up, locomotive.
Have to pay $20 or whatever the going rate is. $30.
That's right.
No
30.
princess parking
Sorry,
for the
no
Beast.
no free parking. Not at the fest. So anyway, it's good to be back in the studio. Sorry I missed on Friday, everybody. I apologize. I don't like missing shows, but it was a Navy reunion, and you can't miss those because
Those are Dad's best friends now.
yeah, they're good people. We lived together for a long time. And it's good to see them doing so well. And it was 90 degrees where I was, and it was not 90 degrees where you were. So anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate you. Great to see you again, Lynn. Steve, thanks for setting up a great guest.
You are very welcome.
Where'd you get him from?
Internet.
Yeah.
Where'd you get him from?
No, it was good. Like keep
AI suggested him.
Keep looking
to
at those
Steve.
places. Right. Jay Vez, awesome.
Thanks.
Did you like that story I put in there for you?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And by the way, next show we're going to talk about the thing you texted me about. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like it too.
Oh, I
So
wanna know.
we'll cover that on Friday. It's
You're in
about
the chat, Lindsay.
Debt level.
Oh,
of the
I
country.
If that doesn't get
I
everybody
do
excited,
not
debt
disturb
levels.
you
Look out,
guys.
everybody.
No, it's just we're not going to it's not going to be a show about finance. It's going to be a show about.
Woo.
And I think it's interesting. John had an interesting point of view. I think it's very interesting.
For
Very.
once.
Yeah. So and then Kevin Chandler, awesome.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for covering on Friday. You guys did a great job. And thanks. I'll see you again soon.
Friday.
Yes, sir. And coming to you from, by the way, Kevin's new nickname, the Compass.
What?
No.
I forgot where
compass.
did that come
That
up
is so-
with?
Because
Rose
he's
Kennedy.
He's
I
our
loved it.
moral
Why do you
compass.
say it like that? Rose
I don't
Kennedy.
like that.
Yeah, why
because
did you say it like that?
It just
It's
better
better than
for
the
failure.
It's better than the
Why are you
the
so
caboose.
down on this?
It's better than the
Well,
caboose.
because
It is better than-
He's spent his
yeah.
entire career trying to control Dad and be
Not-
the moral
not-
compass.
Wow.
That's not true.
He spent his entire
Just 20
career
years
trying to
of
control
it.
Dad.
20 years. Not trying to control
Trying.
him.
Lead.
Just reminding him of a couple things here and there along the way.
Yeah.
Broken compass.
Yes.
The compass.
There you go, John.
Kevin the Compass. Isn't that such a perfect nickname?
I like it.
Rose
It's better
Kennedy.
than Kevin Smith.
Seems like again another.
Yeah, it's
like,
better
no
than Kevin
fun.
Smith on the back of his shirt. Like we all have a nickname: Locomotive, the Vez. You know,
It didn't say the Vez, it
Notorious
said
LMP,
Vesmar.
and then it says Kevin Smith.
It did not say the
said
Vez.
It would be
said
better if it said the
Vesmar.
Compass. Everybody be like, the compass is so cool.
No one had a nickname.
What is a
except
compass? A
you
compass
and
tells
Lindsay.
you where to go. It tells you when you're fucked up, right? That's what
Well,
you do.
he didn't want the caboose on his back. He thought
I
it
agree.
was
That's- he
inappropriate.
Thank
passed
you,
up
Lindsay.
the caboose, so we need to ditch the nickname. It's not working. Kevin the Compass.
Well, we're taking, applications for nicknames for Kevin, guys.
I think
Put 'em in the
Rose hit it
comments.
out of the park. Thank you, Rose,
Thank you, Rose.
for a great nickname
There
for
you
Kevin
go.
the Compass.
Kevin
And,
the
Try to
Compass.
keep us on the straight and narrow.
That's right.
Pointing north.
He's right at one
Right.
point.
You're our North Star.
You are our North Star.
Aw.
Thanks,
It's
Compass.
so no fun.
Thanks, Notorious LMP. Thanks, Vez.
You're
Yep.
welcome.
Kellogg, and coming to you from the Locomotive. It's great to be back. Sorry I missed a show. I won't do it again.
How
Take care, everybody.
dare you.
See you on Friday when we do Season 10, Episode 5 with Shenanigans Galore. See you guys then. Take care. LOCPOD's out.